Welcome to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show with me, Brenda Hector. I'm a business growth specialist helping business owners to develop themselves and grow their businesses so they can achieve their goals and enjoy the lifestyle they dream of. I'm on a mission to revolutionise the entrepreneurial landscape for women in business. In every episode, I interview someone who has an inspiring story or some great advice for women aiming to start or scale their businesses. If you're new to the show, take a moment to subscribe right now so you don't miss any upcoming episodes, and please check out the previous ones after listening to this. We've got an awesome Facebook community. Just search for Scale Her Up and join in. And I'm delighted today to have Victoria Vyalikova with me from Brand House. Victoria, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I feel like the pressure is on after that intro.
Oh,
You
not
know,
at all.
the advice and scaling and all of that.
Let's start at the beginning. What does Brand House do? What do you do for your customers?
Brand House is a digital marketing agency. We're based in Aberdeen. We work primarily with B2B and professional services organizations. So, in case if
Mhm.
anyone listening is not familiar with those terms, B2B stands for business to business, and professional services typically implies the likes of legal, accountancy, wealth management, and you name it. At least that's the professional services we work with. Medical as well. Sometimes they're called complex industry sectors. So yeah, lots of fancy words. But that's the bulk of our clients. And again, most of them are northeast of Scotland, although quite a few of them are international as well. And we provide digital marketing services. We've been doing that for the last 10 years. And yeah, founded as a digital marketing agency and kind of have been sticking to it, if you will.
And you are the founder.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about that journey then. Why did you start Brand House?
It's like, how long do you have? My background is in marketing in-house. So I worked with big four accountancy firms, EY and KPMG. And we're talking almost 20 years ago, aging myself. But the job always entailed marketing and business development in one role. So I was either in like an executive position or a managing position, team leader, and it was always traditional marketing and a fair bit of BD. And as the world evolved, digital marketing became part of the mix. When I moved to Scotland 12 years ago, I definitely felt that there was a gap in digital marketing. I'm putting it mildly. And by then, I developed already knack for it and understanding and appreciating how much transparency digital marketing offered compared to traditional marketing, if you will, the likes of printing brochures. Not that there is anything wrong with it, but it's very hard to connect the marketing activity to a inquiry, let alone to conversion, i.e. sale, when you deal with those kind of methods. Whereas online, there is quite a bit more data, and that's what I got hooked on. So when I was yet again living and working in Scotland, even though I tried working in marketing roles, they were heavily skewed towards traditional marketing, and I was quite genuinely just missing that excitement of seeing conversion. I guess it's instant gratification playing a role in it. So eventually I just bit the bullet and started working on my own. Started as a freelancer, I think as many kind of founders start as an independent consultant, as a freelancer. I did white label pretty much for every agency in Aberdeen because yet again, back then it was a fairly new thing. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say. For grew a huge network of associates around myself worldwide because clients are again local as well as international, and took a funny kind of detour during the pandemic, moved away from Aberdeen for about a year and then moved back because the world came back to wanting to meet face to face as well as clients. So we opened an office here in Aberdeen and I started hiring. And yeah, that's 10 years onwards. It feels like we're entering a new chapter. We'll see.
So you started off as a freelancer. You were working, if anybody doesn't understand the term white label, it's when you deliver under somebody else's brand. And then you built a network of associates. So is your team associates or are they staff now? Yeah.
Both, yes. So yes, I'm an employer now in my own right, but we still work very closely with associates. I'm a high believer in specializing. Yet again, I was a generalist back in the day, but I believe in working with people that are extremely good at one particular thing rather than dabble in lots of things.
Mhm.
So we work with, yet again, specialists for different tasks that require clients. I specialize in some, but I don't do them all, i.e., I have nothing to do with coding. I don't do graphic design. Yet again, I cannot stand doing events, so certain things like that. Whereas if you want digital strategy, you want SEO, PPC, like that's my jam, I will do that. And the same thing goes for the team. People specialize in different things, I recognize it, so you hire for people's specific strengths.
So the associate model, I think
Hmm.
that's be quite common in the marketing
Yeah,
sphere, isn't it? There are
very much.
a lot of freelancers that like to work
Hmm.
for, yeah. And
Yeah, I
so
think the gig economy has really boomed in the last 10 years, and especially probably had a stratospheric jump during the pandemic where a lot of digital and creative professionals, specialists decided to work for themselves. Some people have chosen that kind of freedom. Some people were made furloughed and then maybe made redundant, so they had no choice, but so they fell into it. But I work with a lot of specialists. We completed a website design, and one of the developers on it, he's an independent, but he was working with, yet again, white labeling and subcontracting with agencies. He has his own gigs. So yeah, I think people are just figuring it out. But for agencies, it works. It gives you the agility. Yet again, it gives you the ability to tap into specialisms because digital marketing is an extremely vast ecosystem in
mm,
terms of the types of activities that happen in it. And because of how quickly things change and evolve, it is silly to assume that I could keep up with it all. I could do it all. I can't stand when people refer. I appreciate it, but it also irks me when people say, "Oh, Victoria's our guru, digital marketing guru." I'm like, no, I'm not, because I don't know it all. But working with associates who are really good at one particular thing and finding those people, it's hard work because you constantly got to network, you constantly got to,
that
and
was
you
my
also,
question. In my head, I was
yes,
thinking, okay, where do
yeah.
you find them? Where do you find the good associates?
Yeah, and you build a network. I think it's like with anything. You build a network, you test. So you put some trust into people. I do the same thing when I hire. I give a test project and always pay for it. And the same thing with associates. You sometimes have to take a leap of faith. Yes, you look at the portfolio. Yes, you look at previous examples. Yes, you look at references. But it's very, in a way, it's like building any kind of working relationship. You have to give it a chance, if you will. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I think I've been lucky. 80%, I would say, of associates that we've been working with go back to the starting days, as in like the
Mhm.
early days. So we've stuck around, like clients have stuck around with us as in Brand House, but I also have kept associates close for many years.
Good, it's good to understand the model
Mhm.
that you've used. What have you learned about Victoria over the 10 years that you've been running?
Oh, how long is a piece of string? What have I learned about Victoria? Oh gosh. I don't know if I learned anything. I think I confirmed some of maybe the things that were subliminally, maybe was not too self-aware, but I became more aware of them. So like they got confirmed in a way that I think my values got only reaffirmed over the last 10 years. Yet again, I think my self-awareness heightened. I think I've learned, this is a very recent thing, is I've learned that for example, I am creative. I used to say I'm not creative. I'm not creative in traditional graphic design format, and I used to repeat that over and over, like actual words like, oh, I'm not really creative, or I'm not really creative. But having yet again done a fair bit of work with, over the 10 years, you work with a lot of companies, with a lot of people, and do a lot of white label work. You like it or not, you compare and contrast. At least I do. What I do, how my projects come out. And I was like, actually, I am creative. I just realized that I'm not creative in the traditional sense, i.e., drawing or dancing or that type of stuff. But I am creative when it comes to digital marketing. I am darn good at B2B digital marketing for industries that most people think are dead boring. I am creative when it comes to complex concepts and breaking them down for both clients and their target audiences. So that probably has been the biggest learning, to be honest with you, for myself about myself. It was a process of breaking down those limiting beliefs that got ingrained in me since I was a kid.
That's very powerful when you do that, isn't it? Over the
Hmm.
things that you thought were true. That, yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about, you said your values have been reaffirmed. Tell me about your values and how that's come out in business.
The biggest one is probably, not probably, the biggest one is honesty
Mhm.
and transparency. I was raised by pretty strict parents, and that was probably ingrained from the very early days. And yeah, I don't know. My dad always used to say, it's better the hard truth than comfortable lie or something like that, if you were to translate it from Russian. And I just always stuck to it. And working with clients, working with businesses, it's to me, it's so important because people put trust in you and people put trust of their businesses, which is their livelihood, in you. I'm not saying what we do can make or break a business. There are a lot of other elements to running a business in addition to marketing. But because I take pride in what I do, honest communication, honest reporting, honest conversations is very important to me because also I think it's about setting expectations. Sorry, I feel like I'm waffling, but honest conversation is about asking tough questions because often clients come to you with what they think is a problem, but with experience, you look at it and you think, actually, that's not it. There are a bit of steps that we need to look at first. And having that bravery and honesty to tell them that, not to sugarcoat it, can't stand it. So yeah, it builds trust. And I think in the end, it's best for everyone. And I'll be honest with you, when I think I did was not brave, I can't say that I was not dishonest, but maybe I was not brave or yeah, to speak with probably blunt honesty. I can think of a handful of examples, i.e., when a client wanted two conflicting goals for a campaign, I should have spoken out and the campaign flopped. And I own it afterwards, but I know that's because I was not honest with myself and I should have probably said no to the client. But I wanted, as a recovering people pleaser, I wanted to please, and in the end, it bit me in the back. Don't know if that answers
Okay.
your question.
Yes, it does perfectly. Tell me more about this recovering people pleaser then.
Oh, yet again, I think like a lot of things, it stems from childhood. I was the only child until the age of 7, so I think a lot of the things got ingrained in me very early from that age, and I had very strong figures in my childhood, from my parents to my grandparents to my teachers in early ed, and the people pleaser got ingrained in parallel with not good enough. So that I think those two kind of work hand in hand. When you feel not good enough, you constantly want to validate your worth.
Yes.
And I wrote the book on that.
So
So
how did you come out of that? Because I'm sure I'm sitting here nodding my head. There will be other people listening or watching nodding their head. What do you do to get over that? Because that's quite a big blocker in business. So yeah,
mhm.
how did you get over it?
Aging, of just learning not to give a bleep. Therapy, best thing ever. I think everyone in their life should have therapy. Coaching, so probably a little bit of what you do with other professionals.
Mhm.
A lot of reading, self-development, podcasts. I think, oh, this is a bit personal, like my dad died from alcoholism, so I'm very familiar with 12 steps. So I always say the first steps always begins with acknowledgement. So any kind of process begins with awareness and acknowledgement. So I think once you acknowledge that, like, rats, I'm replaying the I'm not good enough. I'm constantly trying to please, and it's actually hurting me physically, emotionally, in whichever format. Once you actually realize it and become aware of it on the surface, not just like subliminally, and if you want to address it, that's where it comes from. So yeah, there was no one button. It's a continuous process. I'm not over it. It's still ongoing. It's like therapy. It never ends, in my opinion. So yeah, it's an evolution.
No, thank you for sharing that. And there's some
Yeah.
very personal stuff there. Yeah. I
It's
appreciate.
life.
Yeah, isn't it? And yeah, life and your personal stuff and your business are really interconnected
Mm,
when you're a business owner. How
100%.
how do you manage to focus on business when there's life stuff in the way?
Oh, such a good question. Yet again, I think it's, for me, a lot of things only come with experience. You can read and listen and look at models, but it's only when you try to practice, you actually realize it's so much harder, but you have to keep at it. I very early on, I think, realized that I had this bizarre dysfunctional relationship with perfectionism. Yet again, I think it goes hand in hand
Hmm.
with people pleasing. And very early on, I wanted to succeed in business, in my career, not necessarily running a business. I didn't have that as an idea, but to me, because of my childhood, I saw financial security as a security in general in life. So to me, the answer to that was to work my butt off and make money, to feel secure, to get out of the situation that I was in. And therefore, I put all my kind of energy into career growth, into working. And I, yet again, back then, subconsciously probably eliminated the idea of balance in my life. Balance of, yet again, subliminally, I think I realized very early on that when you say yes to one thing, you got to say no to another thing. And in my case, saying no was to having a family, for example. And because I made that conscious choice, I think I came to peace with it very quickly. And I put all of my energy into, yet again, career. But I do suffer from a fair bit of comparisonitis.
Oh yes. Yeah, don't we all?
So when you look at it, of course, you have family and friends and business peers. You look and you're thinking, Jesus, how are they balancing it all with kids and families and pets and this and that? And you're like, how the heck do you achieve that balance? But again, it's only probably in the last 3, 5 years that I realized that balance exists for everyone in a different format. It's not 50, it is never 50-50. If it's 50-50, it's half-assed, excuse my language, on both ends. So yet again, that's why I decided the big thing was because if I was going to be a mother, I would want to be a perfect mother. And that means I would have to sacrifice career. That was, at least that was how I viewed it. That's how I was raised. And I'm not passing judgment on anyone who's juggling, who's managing. And that's what I realized. It's not balance, it's juggling.
Yes.
That's where, yet again, sorry, very long-winded way to answer your question is going back to how do you balance personal with career? You don't, you juggle. You say yes to one thing and you say no to another thing. When I worked, again, in-house in a New York-based law firm that was working with accountants, it's like the two of the most tricky environments, not accountants, sorry, bankers. I worked 16-hour days and I worked 6 days a week. And I said no to my social life. I said no to family, but I was delighted that I was getting to be a
Mm.
fantastic people pleaser. And that was a stage, but then it ruined my health, so I stepped out of it. So yeah, it's all of that teaches you certain things about yourself.
I think that's a brilliant lesson, actually. If you're going to say yes to something, you're going to have to say
Mm,
no to another
mm,
thing.
yeah.
And people pleasers maybe struggle with that particularly, don't we?
God, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that part's going to be in the title to this interview. That's brilliant learning there. You've been in business for 10 years. What have been the challenges that you've faced? Because I know it's
Oh God,
not
no.
all roses.
It's not the high reel from, yeah, from social media. Especially I think when you live, I presume you're in Aberdeen, or at least
I am,
know
yes.
Aberdeen, when you're in the bubble of Aberdeen, and it is a bubble and then some, that is so highly dependent on particular industries and particular market trends. It is always up and down. I'm pretty sure when I started, we were in the midst of the 2014, 2015 disaster, to say it, for so many families and so many people. But at the same time, now as we're going through something similar, it gives you faith that we will come out of it. You learn about your own resilience. You learn about the resilience of people around you. You learn, about the resilience of markets. Markets adjust. And it's, yeah, cliche, but what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
So let just focusing on that then. I wrote that down. Economic downturn. So we've been through
Mm,
the oil crash 2015. We've been
yep.
through COVID. We've been through that, the cost of living, cost of running business crisis. I'm not sure what the name of the current situation we're in, but
Uncertainty. I think that's my word of the year, uncertainty.
yeah. So let's take COVID as the example
Mm,
because we all went through that and we had an unbelievable time getting through that.
yeah.
How did Brand House navigate the COVID pandemic?
I have to take a breath there because it was tricky times. How did we navigate? That's when I think I most felt interconnected or connected, understanding that my business, without my mental health, there is no business. Without my energy, there is no energy to deliver business. First few months probably were really tough because yet again, it proper knocked the wind out of my sails, in terms of like mental health and anxiety and just what the what kind of situation. And I felt it across the pipeline.
Hmm.
So yet again, kind of business dropped massively, but I did not mind because yet again, my mental health needed it was good to be able to go on long walks with my dog. It was good to be able to just do a couple of extra sessions of yoga and yeah, just look after myself, if you will. But that was only for a couple of months. And then I think as everybody adjusted as well, and we're like, all right, life goes on, we need to keep working. At least that was in our sector. And people just adjusted to working online. What's funny is that I worked yet again because we have associates worldwide, clients worldwide. I was on Zoom before that. I was at Skype
Yeah.
before that. So working online was not a new thing for me. It was like that part to me was getting back to business. It's the social element, not being able to go to the gym and things like that. And just yet again, the anxiety in the air of the society was a bit hard. But once the clients and everything else went back online, it became even busier because there was much more demand
Yeah.
in what I do, what we do. And because there were no events, it was all webinars and people were spending so much time online. So it did a number on algorithms. It did, people realized that their websites are not up to date or their website's not even functioning or some didn't even have websites. So the demand spiked like insanely. And with it, my focus as well. Yeah.
So did you have to let staff go?
No,
Did everybody
no, no.
manage to continue
If
working
anything, yet
through?
again, we managed to continue, managed and then some in terms of I had to onboard more associates. And yet again, because that's when a lot of people were made furloughed and it made a lot of people available for gigs. Getting associates worldwide became easier. So yet again, I'm very connected because I spent my youth in the States. So I'm very connected with a lot of entrepreneur and creator communities there. So I plugged in to those communities very quickly and drew on it for yet again workforce very quickly. I equally found somebody way down south, i.e. like Bristol. So yeah, grew the team of associates very quickly.
I'm just thinking about talking about what we went through with COVID, and I was at an event with Brad Sugars, who's the founder of ActionCOACH, a few
Mm.
weeks ago, and he says AI is the new COVID. What we're going through now is there's a big change due to AI, like there was when we were going through COVID. And I'm just thinking, in a creative industry, in marketing, what's your take on AI? Is it going to steal your jobs or is it a massive opportunity? Or where are you?
I would strongly disagree with that perspective, but hey, we all have our kind of reasons for the stories we tell ourselves. I look, any disaster, it yet again, when something gets destroyed, eliminated, I think there are also new opportunities that are created. We saw that in COVID. So many startups happened in COVID. Look at it was Zoom. Yeah, it was Zoom, of course.
Yeah.
And then so many other apps, so many businesses on the back of COVID, morally or immorally, but we'll not go there. And the same thing with AI. Yes, I think humanity in general fears change, and AI brings a lot of change and uncertainty with it. And it irks me when I see so much judgment and so much negativity around AI, because that's, I think, is a reaction from fear and
Yeah.
victim
The unknown.
identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fear of the unknown. Whereas I think it presents a huge opportunity. 100% when, I don't know, when fax was developed, when printing press was developed, when fax machine, computer, et cetera, anything new, it said, oh, it's going to destroy X, i.e. books, for example. I remember when the internet came out. I think now it's like there's still more books published than ever. And we still print and waste more paper than ever. So it just becomes part of the mix. And I think that's what will happen. Yes, if you look at FT and some of the like reports on the markets, it does look like the value of it is overinflated, and there are talks that even not sure when, but maybe something like the dot-com bust, something will happen. But AI brings, I think, a lot of opportunities with it, and fearing it and running away from it is a futile exercise, in my opinion. We have certainly had to adjust. I will not lie. I love it. I use it, but I use it confidently because I come to it with an analytical mind. I do not take it for gospel.
Yeah.
Whatever it creates, be that video, be that data analytics, be that chat GPT for stupid marketing posts, it's, you have to put the human element to that. And I think, unfortunately, if you look at news, life, anything without attention to nuance, you make snap judgments. And if you look at AI without attention to detail and nuance, you may cause significant issues for your employer, which has been, there's plenty of been cases of that in the news. But yes, we do AI. I do encourage it. Isn't we do use AI. I do encourage it across the team. I do encourage it when I was hiring, when I did like interviews and test projects. We have, for example, we're upfront with our clients that we use it. We're upfront to with our clients that it helps us save time. We have, as a result, adjusted our pricing, i.e. reduced it, because we're able to do more for less. And I think, yet again, it's part of that honesty approach, is that I will not, I don't know, I can't bill them a day for something that takes me now an hour to do.
Yeah.
So it's just part of that honest conversation. For now, nobody has complained.
And it speeds things up, but they're getting the same value. So
Mm.
not actually, yeah. Yeah, the pricing is a an interesting part of it actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, to me, that's part of yet again an honest conversation. But so far, nobody complained about reducing prices. That will be the day.
Yeah.
And nobody has complained about the output,
Mm.
because I believe it's that old concept with, we used CRM in in-house jobs, and it's so tricky with CRMs, which is client relationship management database. And the expression always is crap in, crap out. Any system is only as good as the data that you put into it. And the same thing
Yeah,
with AI. It's crap
absolutely.
in, crap out. So I'm proud to say that we know how to properly work with AI solutions to demonstrate decent result, be that analysis of data, be that video, be that reports, be that content creation, whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a great opportunity and it's speeding up the pace at which businesses can get things
Yeah.
done. And yeah, but
And
it,
it will touch some industries and it will touch some professions, and probably will eliminate, it is already apparently eliminating a pretty significant chunk of positions, specifically in junior roles,
mm,
which is a shame, because yet again, what does that do to your hiring pipeline? What does that do to professional development for your company? But there are, I think, jobs that will not be touched by it for a long time. Plumbing, carpentry,
yeah, yeah,
electricians.
many, yeah,
They are in the best time probably ever, because they have the best job security, I'm guessing. I don't know.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's interesting. And who knows where it's going to come. I'm thinking of that song, Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yes, yeah. TV's not done apparently.
And that, but look at podcasting. So
Yes,
we've come right round to,
quite.
Yeah, it's gonna have a change, but who knows what's coming afterwards. So tell me, Victoria, were you always going to be an entrepreneur? Do you think it was written for you as a kid, or did you, is it something that you didn't realize you were going to do until the
Oh, you're
time
now
came?
tapping at my long forgotten, deeply religious roots, talking about predestination. I don't know. That's a good question. I started working when I was 13 for myself.
For
That
yourself?
was, yeah, that was out of need, I suppose. Growing up in the 90s in the Soviet Union was tricky, and I had an advantage, which was speaking English. And my other advantage was apparently I was quite good at tutoring. So I was, as a kid, in high demand. And I enjoyed that. I got the taste of that freedom, financial freedom. And that's when I suppose I got to learn to say no to certain things, i.e., working on weekends and evenings. But I think I kind of, so yeah, so I enjoyed that. But after college, it didn't even occur to me to work on my own. I was very, and I think that yet again comes with, by then I was indoctrinated by American views, maybe in a way of like corporate life.
The education system teaches us how to be an employee. So
Yes,
you've
definitely.
been through an education
Yeah.
of how to have a job. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I was I saw my route as being in corporate, and especially yet again after college I lived and worked in DC, and all you see there is corporations and government organizations and think tanks, and you just think of yourself as one of part of that ecosystem. It's only yet again when I moved to Scotland and I saw a gap, and I think it came out of frustration and wanting to do what I really enjoyed, what I believed in. Don't get me wrong, selling digital marketing services in Aberdeen 10 years ago was like selling black magic. It's amazing how quickly things have developed. I still think I know for a fact we're very behind here when it comes to digital marketing, but it came out of frustration. So I don't know if I was predestined. I think I was raised as a problem solver, and perhaps that was what kind of pushed me to solve the problem, i.e., I didn't see that there was good digital marketing. And yeah, I saw that as a solution for so many businesses here because there's a big wide world out there. And yet again, Aberdeen was a bit of a bubble, especially in B2B. B2C is a different story, but especially B2B, meaning like oil and gas companies, energy companies, engineering, law firms. They're all really risk-averse industries. But some people were curious,
Mhm.
so that was just enough for me to keep going. Yeah, and here we are.
I love that. When you said problem solver, all
Mm,
of the women that I've interviewed and all of the business people that
mm.
I've talked to, how did you get into it? It's either there was a problem in their industry that they saw that they could
Yep, yep,
solve,
yep.
or a problem in their life that having their own business
Mm.
would solve.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yep.
a bit of a light bulb moment there for me. So thank you very
There's
much.
a brilliant video with Reese Witherspoon where she in front of, I think it's either Fortune magazine or something, where she's a keynote speaker, and she says, well, if you look at the movies and the cartoons, the female character, and it's when there's a crisis or a problem, the female character says, what are we gonna do now? And she says, when in real life did a woman say that?
No,
Because
but
when you
she
see a
said,
problem, you're going to be
"Oh,
like,
right,
what are
let's
we going
fix
to?
this." Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
If we say that, it's with a completely different tune, it with a completely different
Mm,
attitude. What are we going to do now? Roll up your sleeves, folks.
yeah.
It's not with a, oh gosh, come save me.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go and find that video and
Oh, I'll
share
send you a
it on my
link. It's
social.
fab. I see it every
That,
so often, and it's so true.
yeah, that'll be my Friday post for today. Yeah. Victoria, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. I think we could have gone on for twice as long at least.
Oh,
But
thank you. I really enjoyed it.
yeah, no, that was really good. Thank you for being so open and honest. It's your value, isn't it? And I think you're a real inspiration to my
Oh, thank you.
listeners and viewers. Thank you very much.
You're
And
very kind.
thanks to you for listening to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes and join the Facebook community at Scale Her Up. Connect with me, I'm Brenda Hector. You find me on social media. Drop me a message to let you know you're enjoying the podcasts or book a 30-minute coaching session. I'd be delighted to have a chat with you. I'll finish by reminding you that only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are 5 times more likely to scale their business to over 1 million in turnover than women. I used to say if, but I've changed that to when we start and scale our businesses to the same extent as men, it will add 250 billion to the UK economy and provide millions of jobs. So, ladies, just like Victoria, you can do it and make a massive difference.